this lecture, we will review research statistics on kissing and oral sex in cross-cultural perspectives. It is very necessary to begin by defining relative terms and then cultural differences on kissing and oral sex will be presented. Cross-cultural psychology is a branch of psychology that explores the similarities and differences in thinking and behavior between individuals from different cultures.
Scientists using a cross-cultural approach focus on and compare participants from diverse cultural groups. They examine ways in which cognitive styles, perception, emotional expression, personality, and other psychological features relate to cultural contexts. They also compare cultural groups on broad dimensions such as individualism and collectivism. Roughly, how much a culture emphasizes its members' individuality versus their roles in a larger group.
Culture refers to traditional, like passed down from generation to generation, ideas and values transmitted to members of the group by symbols such as language.
Culture is defined as the specific traditions, morals, concepts, insights, art, or dialect of a commune or society. It is the symptomatic outlooks and actions of a specific group within society, like a social hierarchy, class, or age set.
Now let us review the science of kissing. According to Bennett in 2023, kissing is defined in psychology as the sustained pressing of the lips against another person's skin, typically involving areas like the lips, cheek, hand, and forehead. This behavior is often studied in the context of its emotional and social significance, as it serves as a universal expression of love and intimacy across cultures.
In romantic relationships, a kiss is often seen as the gateway to intimacy. It's a sensual gesture that can ignite sparks, communicate affection, and deepen the connection between two people. Studies on kissing, or philematology as it's scientifically known, point to numerous benefits, both physiological and psychological. First, stress reduction. Kissing prompts the release of oxytocin, often referred to as the love hormone. This neuropeptide helps reduce stress and promote feelings of bonding and attachment. A passionate kiss after a long day can effectively melt away tension and anxiety. Second, it is an immune system boost. Believe it or not, kissing can boost your immune system. When you exchange saliva with your partner, you're exposed to various germs and pathogens. This exposure can help your body build up antibodies, making you more resilient to illness. Third, mood enhancement. Kissing stimulates the release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. It can improve your mood and leave you feeling happier and more content. And lastly, communication. Beyond the physiological benefits, kissing serves as a powerful form of nonverbal communication. It conveys desire, affection, and emotional connection. A well-timed kiss can speak volumes when words fall short.
In terms of oral sex, according to Indiana University, oral sex refers to oral mouth and tongue, stimulation of the genitals or other areas of the body. Fellatio refers to oral stimulation of the penis. Cunnilingus refers to oral stimulation of the vulva, the external part of the vagina. Analingus refers to oral stimulation of the anal opening, also known as rimming or anal oral sex. Ethnocentrism tends to influence our understanding of human sexual behavior. Anthropologists have discovered that there are wide variations in sexual behavior and attitudes from one culture to the next.
Now, according to the sexperts regarding kissing and oral sex in sex cross-cultural perspectives, cultures also tend to dictate the general beliefs a society has about sexual activity. Since there are such a vast array of experiences that people identifying with a particular culture encounter, the differences in sexuality among cultures do not define all experiences within each culture.
For example, the Hindu people of India tend to avoid kissing because they believe that it symbolically contaminates the act of coitus. But that does not mean that all Hindu people share those same beliefs. Sexual activity is comprised of a plethora of subjects, such as kissing, oral sex, masturbation, and foreplay. Culture intersects with sexual activity. Although kissing on the mouth is one of the most basic sources of sexual arousal in Western society, it is uncommon or completely absent in many other cultures. Kissing is described as contact created by the mouth, which can be a sign of greeting, love, friendship, passion, or romance. Mouth-to-mouth kissing is seen as very common in Western and European cultures, while some cultures, like the Dhona tribe of South Africa, view kissing very negatively. In a recent study, researchers tested the presence of romantic kissing across 168 cultures. They found that only 77 of these cultures, 46%, practiced romantic kissing. Some people may think that kissing is commonplace, but it is statistically more common to avoid romantic kissing in a culture than it is to engage in. For example, in some states in India, people have gathered to protest by kissing in public as a way of going against the cultural stigma that surrounds the act. Some cultures have other means of affection that can be compared to kissing, such as an Eskimo kiss, which requires partners to rub their noses together.
Now, let us review some relevant information regarding oral sex. Some cultures are very accepting of oral sex while others deem the act to be taboo or morally wrong. As stated, oral sex is when one person provides oral stimulation to a partner's genitals. In much of the Western world and in industrialized parts of Asia, and in many island societies of the South Pacific, oral sex is quite common and may even be seen as a natural part of sexual arousal and foreplay. Conversely, some cultures in parts of Africa view oral sex to be highly unnatural, and many religions across the world view oral sex as sinful. Oral sex can be a very erotic form of foreplay that leads to sex, or it can be a main event. It brings sexual pleasure, satisfaction, and possibly even orgasms. Gillespie, 2020, states that oral sex is when you stimulate your partner's genitals with your mouth, lips, or tongue. They can stimulate your genitals using these body parts. This might involve fellatio, sucking or licking the penis, cunnilingus, sucking or licking the vagina, vulva, or clitoris, or analingus, sucking or licking the anus. Oral sex is often thought of as foreplay, meaning it happens before penetration with a penis or sex toy. It might also occur after intercourse, or it could replace intercourse entirely. Everyone has their own preferences. There are no rules, provided both parties consent to the activity. Oral sex has STI risks. While oral sex can offer deep physical and emotional pleasure, it also has one of the same dangers as intercourse. Oral sex can spread sexually transmitted infections, STIs, including chlamydia, gonorrhea, herpes, and HPV. Many people are surprised to learn how dangerous it can be to have oral sex when it comes to STIs.
According to Dr. Ross, who is an OB/GYN and women's health expert, whether you're the giver or receiver of oral sex, you can contract and/or spread STIs. An HPV infection of the throat can even lead to throat cancer, the same way HPV can lead to cervical cancer. To protect yourself, make sure you and your partner are STI tested. If you're not sure about your partner's status, experts advise using condoms or a dental dam, which is a thin piece of latex that covers the vulva. The National Library of Medicine states that there are differences in oral sexual behaviors by gender, age, and race. These differences in oral sexual behavior were observed by gender, age cohort, and race. The results indicated that most men, 85.4%, and women, 83.2%, had never performed oral sex. But men had more lifetime oral and vaginal sexual partners. 60 to 69-year-olds were less likely than 45 to 59 or 30 to 44-year-olds to have performed oral sex. In multivariate analysis, gender, age cohort, and race were significant predictors of oral sexual behavior. National surveys and research reviews show oral sex initiation typically clusters in mid to late adolescence, roughly ages 15 to 18, with prevalence rising sharply into the early 20s, and then varying across adulthood by cohort and age group. Multiple studies and compilations report that younger birth cohorts initiated oral sex earlier than older cohorts, and that prevalence of having ever performed oral sex is higher in younger adult age groups than among older adults.
Please be advised, This is an educational, academically sound psychology course by Dr. Bev Knox for adult student learners. Lecture content include discussions and representations of human sexuality, theoretical perspectives on sexuality, sex research, sexual anatomy, sex hormones, sexual arousal, attraction and love theories, gender and sexuality, sexual orientation, variations in sexual behavior, sexual coercion, sex for sale, sexual disorders, and sex therapy, ethics and religion on sexuality, and sex laws. Before beginning the course, please be mindful of your capacity to witness and respond to videos, books, and images of this content material.